Hey, what's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another episode with iTrack. If you haven't been here before, what we like to do is take a look at the most interesting and creepy TikToks and kind of evaluate for ourselves whether these are facts or fake. If you haven't already, go ahead and smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, go ahead and join the iTrack fam. Without any further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it.
One of my informants, he's got information based on a deathbed confession of a person who actually worked at Area 51, and they said that not only was there a creature there, but that it escaped.
Is there any type of evidence that would lead us to believe that there is an alien out here running around?
My informant, he's got video evidence of this creature that was shot back in the early 1980s in Tonopah. Check your emails. I sent you the video.
Oh my God.
What is that?
Now, we all know that wasn't enough evidence to say that was an alien. That could have been a coyote. It could have been any kind of animal out there in the world. But he might have been reaching a bit. Let me know what you think in the comments. Now, those were a little bit more clear to see, and that definitely didn't look like any kind of animal that I've ever seen.
Oh man, I know they got an excuse for this.
Stylings of
Look at
Victor
Shaq this whole
Oladipo,
time.
who is the reigning two-time
I'm trying to tell you,
champion
man,
of
this
the
happened too
All-Star
much in Hollywood.
Weekend,
Look.
player talent show.
You are talented. I give you a little credit on that. A lot of credit. You're very talented.
Stuck.
I mean, you're not a karaoke guy like me, but you can ask.
Charles,
you know they call me
they
a
acting like
brown
they
eye,
don't even
right?
see him.
As a matter of fact, you
going,
both
keep
have
going.
experience singing New York, New York. His was at the Slam
See,
Dunk
my man
contest.
right
Yours
here.
was in Vegas.
Yes.
We had
Might
the
be in
show out
control
there.
or something,
Here's just a
man.
little sampling.
Start spreading the
Shaq's still
news.
stuck right now, bro. I'm trying to tell
I'm leaving today.
you. Jordan Peele movie shit.
To be
Trolling somebody. This is some they clone Tyrone looking ass shit, man. Watch the whole time he was still stuck.
See, I
He's
love to
still
do
there stuck.
karaoke. That's good, isn't it?
You see those two mics
man.
back there?
You made up your own words.
Now, that had to be the most strange thing I've seen Shaq do. I mean, the man was stuck, wasn't moving.
Historical photos that hide a secret. A simple baseball team in 1911. They were death row inmates whose execution was postponed as long as they kept winning. They won 4 matches in a row before being executed despite not having suffered a defeat. An old photo taken in 1863. This is the only known photo of Abraham Lincoln at Gettysburg before delivering his famous speech. A group of people in front of the Sphinx in 1863. They are Japanese samurai during the Aikita mission. Their aim was to obtain an agreement to close the port of Yokohama to foreign trade, as Japan wished to maintain its isolationist policy. A man with a tribe in 1961. The man is Michael Rockefeller, a member of the famous billionaire family. He will disappear shortly after the photo is taken. The Asmat tribe was known to be cannibalistic. A few years later, a documentary directed by Fraser Heston revealed disturbing images of a man paddling energetically among the tribe members. So, what is the truth?
I think the truth might have been he was somewhere he probably shouldn't have been, and he was fighting for his life. But that's just a good guess.
Mind-blowing satanic rituals and sacrifices out there.
What?
Oh yeah. That's the facility I was hunting. It's Aerojet. It's actually an abandoned space rocket facility where they were developing and testing space rockets.
And what were you hunting there?
Pythons. I was given special access by the state of Florida to remove pythons from out there. And nobody can just go back out there, but people do go out there, as you can see from the graffiti and different stuff like that. Usually to do stuff that they're not supposed to do. There's a lot of crimes committed out there. There've been murders out there, gang initiations, all kind of stuff. The first thing I came across was a big rock pile with a upside down wooden cross on top and a bunch of red spray painted upside down crosses all over. And then I found this little doll, and then the night just kind of gets weirder from there. The red lettering in the other clip, it was a big Latin saying, like 100-foot long pretty much, on the road. I drove over it. We later translated it to, "Turn around, run, hide, he is watching you." Go further into the complex and there's these big abandoned buildings. I go into the building, still just python hunting. And then I come to this big room where there's the big pentagram. In the middle of the pentagram, there is a 3-legged plastic chair with a blood stain in the bottom of it where you could tell something was killed, sacrificed, whatever. In one of the rooms, there's a sleeping bag with something inside of it. I don't think it was a body, anything like that. Police went out there, investigated it. I didn't investigate further past that. Something was inside the sleeping bag, and on the walls there was, looked like red spray paint, and it said, "She was only 9, we gave her to the devil," like basically talking about sacrificing a child. And then you have this little girl's gown that's nailed to the wall with like a dark red stain on it.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
What exactly do they got going on in Florida? I'm not sure I even want to know, actually.
Now, as a veteran of many years in American politics, I'm going to tell you something somewhat shocking. Joe Biden will not be the nominee of the Democratic Party in 2024. Kamala Harris will briefly become president, but the only way in their party they can replace a woman of color is with another woman of color. And yes, you heard it here first. The Democratic nominee for president will be Michelle Obama. They have already rigged their primaries. The reason that they have canceled the Iowa caucuses and the New Hampshire primary is to put South Carolina, a state where a majority of the Democratic primaries or primary voters are African Americans, and they will allow Gavin Newsom to purchase the vice presidential nomination, but the Obamas will hold him up for $600 or $800 million to do so. You heard it here first. When Steve Bannon says it in 3 weeks, remember I said it first.
I keep telling y'all, they are selected, not elected. It doesn't matter who is going to be president. We are all doomed. And if you actually think Trump is on your team, I'm going to show you why he not very soon. It's going to shock everybody.
What advice would you give a young lady wanting to become president of the United States?
Well, I hope we do have a young lady at some point become president of the United States. I can tell you how I think it will happen, because it won't happen in the normal course of events. Either the Republican or Democrat political party will nominate a man for president and a woman for vice president. And the woman and man will win. So you'll end up with a president, a male, and a vice president, a female. And in that term of office of the president will die. And the woman will become president under the law or constitution. And once that barrier is broken, from then on, men better be careful, because they'll have a hard time ever even getting a nomination in the future.
He said this years ago, and now we have Biden and Kamala. So the next thing you know, if what he's saying is true, just keep your eyes peeled, I guess.
That's as far as it goes. On video. I'm taking a video of it. They don't know. Goes away. What the hell?
What is going on? Do you see that?
Okay, so they got the helicopters escorting the man-made UFOs out in Florida. Oh.
Mysterious creature caught in Texas.
I think we finally have an answer for where chupacabras come from. A couple weeks ago, this picture was taken by a woman in Texas, and the internet nearly broke itself in half trying to figure out what it was. Some people said hyena, others said it was a panther or some type of cat, and many claimed that it was in fact the goat sucker himself, Chupacabra. By the way, can we just acknowledge that she had a whole phone but snapped a picture when hitting record was just a thumb swipe away? These things really do be happening to the wrong people. But for the answer, first, story time. Once upon a time, humanity had beef with wolves, and the process that nearly put them on a shirt had some unexpected consequences. One of them being the remaining wolves were so down bad that they had no choice but to fraternize with coyotes. The same coyotes that wolves are 100% on site with, resulting in the hybrid, the coy wolf. And wouldn't you know, apparently coyotes don't discriminate because they also created coy dogs. Another thing to know is that mange is a nasty skin disease caused by parasitic mites burrowing into the skin. You feel itchy, don't you? Me too. So this whole time, the chupacabra might have just been a mangy coy dog or coy wolf or whatever coyote collabs out there. I mean, just look at what it does to bears. Nasty work, the more you know.
Definitely the more you know, because I had no clue wolves were mating with coyotes and the such. So that's pretty wild.
That was a close one.
I mean, does it get any more random than that?
Queens, New York. This is why you always gotta watch your back. So this guy just tried to enter this home, but the homeowner doesn't even know him.
Oh, Jesus.
That man had total confidence that he lived there. He just was gonna walk in like nothing happened.
That I don't even want to look like Katy Perry anymore sometimes.
Okay.
And like that is a little bit of why I cut my hair, is because I really want to be my authentic self,
Yes.
like 100%. And so it hurts, you know, when I don't feel like I can.
you know, what was going on in my life at 15, and that's how I got introduced to the music industry. I swear I wanted to be like the Amy Grant of music. Yeah. But it didn't work out, and so I sold my soul to the devil.
Did you ever have some bouts of where Katie just didn't want to go on?
Yeah, I wrote a song about it.
Okay.
That's what I guess I do. That's how I process, is I write songs.
And you get rid of those feelings, those uncomfortable feelings.
Some of them don't come out fully, and that's why I still do the work.
Which song was that? What lyric comes to your mind?
By the Grace of God.
Okay. They're very close to you. They're very close. They're heartfelt.
It's hard, like I sang it on tour.
Okay.
And it's hard because I'm ashamed.
Oh.
Because, of course, Katy Perry's so strong.
We're talking to Catherine. She's sitting back.
But it's hard because I feel ashamed that I would even, like, have those thoughts, you know? I'd feel that.
It almost seems like she has buyer's remorse. You know, money isn't everything. We see it every day. You know, if you're not happy with yourself, it turns out kind of like that.
Now I got videos. Come on, bitch. I got videos how you attacked us. What the fuck you did, bitch? How about that movie, bitch?
That's one of those prime examples of somebody doing something they know they shouldn't be doing, and you get caught doing it, and then you still feel like you want to keep up the charade. Like, you were wrong. Come on now.
Air Force Base, these cigar-shaped ships were over a mile in length. One of them landed on the airport landing strip area. When it touched the ground, it created an earthquake like about a 3.5 to 4.0. It terrified everybody in the area. The back of this craft opened up, and several hundred young men with huge, heavy weapons came out of two sides of the ship and formed a protection line around the ship. And the people at that Air Force base, the commander, had a meeting with the individuals that were aboard this ship. And this particular race that landed those ships and that are seen in these huge cigar-shaped ships, they are a black race. They look like African Americans. They were about 6'4", 6'5", these tight-fitting black leather outfits on, and the weapons that they came out of the ships with, they were huge weapons. And if you've ever seen a race of people that were conquerors, that had never been conquered, they've got this look about them of arrogance. That is exactly what these extraterrestrials had, and they informed these people at this American Air Force base that not only were they from a militaristic society, but they had controlled a large portion of the galaxy that we live in. And this was the statement that Ronald Reagan was making to the United Nations when he said that if all the countries on the planet realized that there was a threat from outer space and from an alien civilization, we would all come together. But he was not allowed to make this statement. What I tell you is true, and the gentleman that you had on before, tell him to look up.
Often forget how much unites all the members of humanity. Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bond. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world. And yet, I ask you, is not an alien...
Now that has to be one of the first times I've ever heard about African American extraterrestrials. That's probably the most interesting thing that I've heard so far.
Hillary Clinton's execution, it sounds like you were there at the military tribunal. Were you there?
No.
Okay, what's your source of information that Hillary was executed as you described here on video to your followers?
First and foremost, a journalist can't disclose his sources by law, so I'm not going to burn a source. I believe your client has actually invoked that privilege as well, if I'm not mistaken. I'm an investigative journalist, and I am protected by the First Amendment to not reveal my source, number one. Number two, this exact story is widely reported across many different outlets across the world.
Where did you get it from?
I just told you.
From who? Can you name a source? Any source?
I'm not going to name my sources. Absolutely not.
You said it was...
It will put me out of business.
It was widely reported where?
Across many different media outlets across the world.
Can you name some of them?
No, I can't. I don't have the list here in my head. I didn't know you were going to ask me, but you're free to research it yourself.
Well, your source for Hillary Clinton's execution, first of all, did that person ask for confidentiality?
Objection. They don't have to ask for confidentiality to be a source of a journalist. It's not how it works.
Okay.
And yes, they did.
Okay. Did you have just one source for this information or multiple sources?
I don't know if I had one source for this particular piece of information. I have multiple sources that give me information that are very close to the actual events that I talk about occurring.
Okay. Can you tell me who authorized the execution of Hillary Clinton?
Donald Trump.
Okay.
I'm sorry. The military tribunal authorized the execution.
But
She was put through
Donald
trial.
Trump was there.
Donald Trump was president of the United States, ordered the arrest via the military, and then presided over the execution.
Okay. Did the Secretary of Defense approve the execution?
I have no idea.
Yeah, where did the execution take place?
Guantanamo Bay.
And we've seen Hillary since the end of 2018, haven't we, on television, or is that a body double?
You see what you think is Hillary on television, but that's not Hillary.
Okay. It's your belief that's a body double?
It is a body double.
Okay. How do you know that?
Because Hillary was executed on December 31st of 2018.
Okay. But you weren't a first-hand witness to the execution, is that correct?
Correct. Asked and answered.
Okay. What other high-level public officials were executed by military tribunals?
Joe Biden.
He was, I think you've broadcast that he was executed for crimes against humanity in 2019?
Yes.
And the Joe Biden that was elected president in November of 2020 is really a body double? You've broadcast that, right?
Yes. A body double and or cloning technology is amazing today. Most people don't know about it, but could also be a clone, but I don't think so because it looks nothing like the actual Joe Biden anyway.
All right. So Mark Esper, he was the Secretary of Defense. Does he know about these executions?
Mark Esper turned out to be a cabal deep state plant, and Mark Esper is a traitor, in my opinion.
Okay. Should be executed?
No, I didn't say that.
I thought you said earlier traitors should be executed.
He wasn't put through trial, and he wasn't indicted, as far as I'm aware, unless it's still sealed for anything. If he does get found guilty of a crime of treason, sedition, or crimes against humanity, those particular offenses call for the death penalty, which I support in those cases.
Was Anthony Fauci executed?
I have conflicting information on that.
Okay. Have you reported that he will be arrested and tried by a military tribunal?
Yes.
And if found guilty, he'll then be executed?
I'm not the one that controls that, but if he's found guilty of a crime of treason, sedition, or crimes against humanity, those particular crimes, if found guilty, carry the sentence of a death penalty.
Did you report on social media that Governor of California, Gavin Newsom, was arrested and executed?
I believe I reported that Gavin Newsom killed himself.
Okay. And who's standing in for Gavin Newsom now? Body double?
Or a clone.
Or a clone. You report on social media that there's really a second secret constitution of the United States?
Yes.
And did you report that the Supreme Court of the United States has already rendered a decision overturning the 2020 election?
Yes.
And they just haven't gone public with it yet?
Correct.
Okay. Have you reported on social media that Donald Trump is still the president of the United States, even though Biden or his body double was inaugurated?
Yes.
Did you report on social media that John McCain was one of the first ones put to death by a military tribunal?
Yes.
And you believe that to be true?
Yes.
Did you report on social media that former Governor Andrew Cuomo is a pedophile who raped and killed and tortured children?
Yes.
Did you report on social media that there was no shooting at the concert goers at Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas?
Yes.
Did you report on social media that Donald Trump has control over all banks worldwide?
I don't recall that.
Did you report on social media that Trump sat down with Saudi Arabia in 2017 once he came into office and got control over Saudi Arabia, then Israel, and then the Vatican?
The way that you just said it, no. I did report on Trump's, quote, world tour in 2017. The way that you just said it is inaccurate, but yes.
Give me the accurate version then.
Donald Trump, immediately upon taking office, met with, and this is documented if you go back and look at his itinerary, met with several countries. Saudi Arabia being the first, Israel being second, the Vatican, the royal family, China, Brazil, and several other countries throughout the world.
And what did he do? He said, I've got the goods on you. I know you're cabal, you're child trafficking. What did he tell them?
Not necessarily that way, but he had evidence of certain individuals, certain proponents of government that were within government that were doing crimes against humanity. They were committing crimes against humanity. And Trump, and not just Trump, but Trump and his administration, Pompeo, and several military generals who always accompanied Trump, showed them the bad eggs of their own government and asked for capitulation with their governments to help bring down this worldwide ring of terror, so to speak.
The cabal?
The cabal.
Okay. What is the cabal? What's your definition?
The cabal is a global group of elites, such as high-ranking government officials, high-ranking CEOs and presidents of companies, central bankers worldwide, and other financially well-off billionaires that control the world without any of its citizens knowing.
And you said on social media many times Tom Hanks was a pedophile?
Yes.
And is Tom Hanks deceased now?
Yes.
He was executed?
Yes.
And was it a military tribunal that executed him too?
I believe so.
Okay. How many people have been executed by way of the military tribunal? Is it hundreds of people or thousands?
I have no idea.
Okay. Did you report on social media that the District of Columbia has been under martial law for several months and the Patriots blew up the tunnels underneath the District of Columbia, which were used for child trafficking?
Yes.
And you believe that to be true, correct?
Absolutely.
And who's your source for that information?
Asked and answered. I don't give up my sources for journalism.
That is a lot of information in one sitting. Do your own homework, do your own research, and come to your own conclusions. Well, you guys, that is another one in the books. I appreciate you guys for stopping by and watching another one with iTrack. If you haven't already, smash that like button, smash the subscribe button, go ahead and join the iTrack fam. I appreciate every single one of you guys for all the support, man. I appreciate all of it. And I will definitely catch you on the next one.